Giant and Elf Battle Report. It's going to be 2,500 points. It's a tournament prep. It's Khaine versus Empire. It'll be Dawn Attack. Here's my list. It's basically just a Host of the Eternity King with a lot of my favorite models. I have a Spellweaver, level 4 Heavens. I have a Branch Wraith for Lore of Undeath, just for fun. I have a couple of Death Hags. One's on the Cauldron and one has the Witch's Brew. The Witch's Brew will go into the Executioners, and the Cauldron will go into the Swordmasters. A couple units of Glade Guard, some Dark Riders, Wild Riders, and then the two mentioned units of Great Weapon Elves. A Sky Cutter, just because I like the model. Warhawk Riders, because they're just fun. And the Charybdis, because I have the model and I think he's cool. So, that's it. Here's my opponent's list from memory. He has a Grandmaster as his general. He's got I think he has a couple of magic items on him. I can't remember exactly which ones. He also has a level 4 Battle Wizard Lord on light. He has two captains on pegs. I think one of them's a BSB, one of them has a 4-up ward save, and both of them have 1-up armor saves. A couple of Inner Circle Knights and some Halberdiers. Can't remember the exact numbers on both of these, but you can tell from the pictures, I guess. 5 Demigryphs. He will have some proxies here. A cannon, a couple units of Pistoliers, Celestial Hurricanum, and of course a Steam Tank. Let's start off with a blurry photo. Here's my deployment for Vanguard. You can see Wild Riders, Dark Riders, some Glade Guards, some Warhawk Riders. Those are the red guys are Executioners. Behind them are some more Dark Riders, and to the right of them you can see my Swordmasters with the Cauldron in it. The Charybdis is in the river. There's some more Glade Guard, and then the Sky Cutter all the way far away. Here's my opponent's deployment on my left. Those are his 5 Demigryphs. He's got a Stegodon and a Carnosaur as proxies because he didn't have the other 2 models. That's his BSB Pegasus. Those are 5 Pistoliers, and then there's the big unit of Halberdiers with the Wizard. Then there's the Celestial Hurricane. Here's my opponent's right flank. There's on the hill you have his big unit of Inner Circle Knights with the Grandmaster and a Warrior Priest. You have a Steam Tank, and in front of them you have the 5 Pistoliers, and in the very back corner you have his cannon. Alright, he steals the first turn from me. This is Vanguard on the left side. Again, sorry for the blurry photos. We were in a bit of a hurry. We were trying to squeeze in 2 games. This is Vanguard on the right side. As you can see, my Warhawk Riders are able to squeeze through and Vanguard out in front a little bit. I want to go for that Wizard and those Halberdiers. I'm just begging the killing blow him. Alright, this was his first turn. He moves the Demigryphs up aggressively and then moves to redirect my Wild Riders, and he also manages to knock one off with the Pistoliers. Those Pistoliers are really good for Empire Cavalry. BSB hides behind a building, but I'm okay with this so far. He moves the Halberdiers up a little bit weirdly. On the right side, everything pretty much pushes forward. The Pistoliers come up and I guess they're trying to just block off a bunch of my stuff. Kind of a weird place to put them, but I guess he's trying to bait a charge out from the Charybdis, which ends up happening. Over to the right of the building, which you can't see, he has his other Pegasus captain hiding behind that building. Okay, here a lot happens. Coming back to my turn, I charge the rear of his Pistoliers with my Dark Riders. The Pistoliers break but escape, so this kind of creates a bit of a situation, like a little traffic jam here, and it actually kind of puts me in a pickle because right now he can't charge my Glade Guard with my Wizard, but he could charge my Dark Riders, and of course he's going to kill them, and if he overruns, he'll actually run into his own Pistoliers. But we don't know if his Pistoliers are going to rally. If they fail to rally and run off the board, he's going to have a perfect overrun path right into my Glade Guard. So don't really know what's going to happen here. I feel like a lot of good decisions were made on both parties, but it's going to lead to kind of a cluster. So let's see what happens. Over here on the right side, as you can see, my Warhawk Riders aren't there anymore. They just bonsai charged into that Halberdiers, killed a couple, and then the guy that was in base with the Wizard Lord just double killing blowed him and just took him off the board turn 1. So I'm really excited about that. My opponent's a little bit distressed because I mean, he still has a warrior priest and a celestial hurricanum, but overall his competitive magic phase is over, so that's really good for me. I move up my dark riders to chap up his cavalry. The Charybdis did take the bait, charged his pistoliers, and the pistoliers escaped. All right, and pretty much the worst case scenario happened. He charged the flank of those dark riders. I couldn't flee because if I fled, he would just have a 14 or 15 inch charge into my glade guard, and I know he would make that. So he got in the flank of that, and weirdly he charged the BSB into the rear of them too. I guess I don't really know why. I guess just to give him something to do. But they kill the dark riders. They overrun. His pistoliers fail to rally, so they run off the board, giving him a perfect overrun path. And the BSB is able to overrun as well and clear the demigryphs. So they get in. Fortunately, they don't fight this combat this turn, so I'll actually get a turn to respond and get those wide riders into position and maybe hopefully save the day. On the right side, not really sure where his pistoliers go. I think they actually rally and move around that building to the right, and that's where my sky cutter was hiding as well. I'm trying to creep up on that cannon that was in the top right corner, but he goes over with those pistoliers and is able actually to kill off the sky cutter with those pistoliers. So those pistoliers are really doing some work this game, both of them. Otherwise I kind of he just kind of pushes forward, takes care of my dark riders, and is just kind of trying to bait out some long charges from my great weapon elves. All right, things go a little bit better for me over here. The wild riders go into the flank, and I'm actually able to get the executioners with the death hag and branch wraith by the building and into I believe it's in his front. So I only have like two or three executioners actually in combat. So, but they are going to contribute a lot of combat res, and I'm able to kill a lot of demigryphs. He pretty much fluffs his rolls. I think I might have got an ice shard off on him too. I can't exactly remember, but it's just pretty much a massacre. He kills 2 glade guard, breaks, and gets ran down. So that's great. One of his biggest threat units are off the board. However, a lot of my resources are tied up over here, and I still have that Pegasus captain that's going to probably try to go kill my wizard. So he's still in the game, though. I do have a lot of points off of him now. Over here, the sword masters make a fairly long charge and get into his halberdiers. They're not really a prime target, but since the wizard's dead, I go ahead and just clean them up. I take like maybe 2 or 3 casualties from it, and I just pretty much kill them. I kill like 20 or 30 of them, and I run him down. And I overrun out of his charge arc, so that's really good. I also have moved the Charybdis up to kind of just chaff up his cavalry and steam tank. I wasn't sure about how far I would overrun, so I just made sure that he wouldn't have a charge on my flank with the cavalry and the steam tank. So Charybdis is gonna have to take one for the team, but that's okay. He's cheap enough. Also, his cannon, I think I failed to mention last turn, actually blew up, so he just turned it over. He didn't feel like removing it from the table, but it's gone at this point without actually doing anything, so that's really great. Shot on the right side, not a whole lot going on. That pistoliers killed the sky cutter, like I mentioned, and I think he actually forgot to move this Pegasus captain once or twice, so he's not doing a whole lot. All right, back to his turn. Just as I imagined, he moves his Pegasus captain into position to try and snipe out either my wizard or my general. I had miscast earlier and power drained, so that's great. So I only have at this point I only have a level 1, I think, and a level 1 more of undeath. And actually, I think I had miscast first turn and only did a wound to each, which is not really relevant. But the fact that my branch wraith only has 2 wounds puts him at 1 wound and a very, very juicy target for the Pegasus captain as well. So he's got some kind of little buffet over here of points. All right, on his turn, pistoliers can start harassing the glade guard, and as you can see at the very bottom right-hand corner, it's actually like a skink on a pterodactyl or whatever, but that's actually he's practicing that for another peg captain. The steam tank makes short work of the Charybdis. The cavalry reform and try to. I guess he's going to try to sneak by those elves. I think he doesn't really want a whole lot to do with them, which I don't really blame him. But so I'm not really sure exactly what's going to happen here. But I'm a little worried about that steam tank. I don't think I have any wounds on it right now. Back to my turn. I kind of get everybody into position. I'm trying to set up the Wild Riders and the Executioners so that one of them will be able to charge him no matter where he goes, unless he just flies off and hides. So if he's going to go for my Spellweaver, he's going to have to fight for it. Spellweaver jumps into the Executioners as well, so furthermore making it a hard decision for him. And earlier before I had Power Drained, I had gotten off a Uranim's Thunderbolt on him and gotten 2 wounds through. So sorry I failed to mention that, but I do have him down to 1 wound. So we kind of have a little bit of a standoff here. He doesn't want to give up his BSB, but he really needs the points of my Wizard or my General. And here I make one of the biggest mistakes of the game. I had a pretty good Magic phase, but I only had 2 level 1s. So I got my Cauldron spell off, which is really good, which is really important because I know that steam tank's about to come into me. But I had a bunch of dice left, so I was like, I cast my 1 spell on the Pegasus Captain, and then I just for fun summoned some skeletons at maximum range. So I was like, okay, I can just use these as a chaff. Well, I positioned them really poorly, and it leads to a really big disaster. I'll show you on the next one. This is just me reforming the Swordmasters to try to get out of his charge arc, but I think I'm still in his charge arc. But I really wouldn't mind him charging me with those cavalry because I know I'll just eat them up. And this was why the skeletons were a bad idea. And this is partly due to my inexperience with Lore of Undeath, but he just charges the skeletons. I don't know what I was thinking. He charges in, kills them easily, and overruns and is right. And I'm really lucky he just didn't get into the flank of my dang Glade Guard. But now he's in prime position to just eat up some archers. But the Pegasus Captain goes in, and I challenge him out with my Executioner Champion, and he's able. I think I may win combat, but he actually holds. And now that he's cleared my Swordmasters, he has a prime charge with his steam tank in the random movement phase. So he just rolls into him. He kills a ton of Swordmasters with his impact hits. Fortunately, he misfired, I believe, and rolled to where he does D3 wounds to himself, but gains like D3 steam points or something like that. Well, he does 3 wounds to himself, but he gains 3 extra steam points. So not only does he put 3 into movement, he puts 3 into his steam gun, which puts it at strength 4, which that just shreds even more Swordmasters. So at this point, I have like 6 or 7 left. Fortunately, I got off the additional frenzy spell, so these Swordmasters have 3 attacks apiece, and they're rerolling all failed to wounds with the Cauldron. So I end up doing so he's down to 7 wounds now. I do 4 in combat, which is really good for elves versus the steam tank. So I'm pretty pleased with this. I'm a little freaked out that my Swordmasters are just butchered. And also, we kind of ran into a rulings question, and feel free to comment here if you have an answer. But when I go to reform, I want to maximize, but the Cauldron is still supposed to stay in the middle of the unit. So I traditionally have always, but I don't want to pull models out of combat with the steam tank. So we kind of ran into an issue here. Not really sure how to resolve it. I just put the Cauldron on the flank and put those guys there, and after combat, I put the Cauldron back in the middle. So I'm not sure. It's kind of some weird rulings here. So if you know the answer to this, let me know. But anyway, we're kind of in a grind now. Those Pistoliers are dead in the corner. All right, back to my turn. It's just clean up, really. The Peg Captain is killed by the Executioners. We refuse a challenge and just dump all of the Executioner attacks into him on his turn. So he ends up dying, I believe. Back to my turn. The Executioners charge the front of the Night Bus. The Swordmasters charged the flank, and I think some Wild Riders that were off screen charged the other flank. So it was just game over. He was able to kill all of the Wild Riders, but other than that, I just killed him to the man, I believe, and that was game at that point. I don't think he had anything left. the swordmasters had polished off the steam tank. I may have actually skipped a photo here, but the swordmasters were actually able to grind down the steam tank to the last wound, so that was really impressive. And then I reformed back into legal formation. That's pretty much it. So it came out to be a really, really big win for elves. And kind of as a disclaimer, this tournament, I'm actually hosting it. We kind of have a bit of a comp on it. There's no special characters and no duplicate rares. So it does hurt the Empire a little bit, especially since they really want to bring Franz or they really want to bring double stanks. So it does hurt him a little bit. So he's going to have to do some pretty hard list reconstruction to try to keep up with a bunch of end times lists. But final thoughts. First of all, the biggest swing in this game was me just flying up with Warhawk Riders and taking out his wizard. There was a little bit of luck there, but still, that could have been any number of units that went in there and killed his wizard, because he, like me, he doesn't really run any protection on it. So if you're going to put your wizard in a bunker, it's got to be a bunker that's not going to try to jump into combat. Archers, handgunners, or something that can either get away or hangs out at the back of the board. Second of all, executioners are really good versus one-up cav, and I didn't think about that going into this. I mean, they're strength 6, they reroll ones to wound, and they have killing blow. So every 6 is a dead cavalry. So that really wasn't even a fair fight. They were dead before they were wiped out before they even got to attack. And finally, the Cauldron is apparently a match for a steam tank. That's the second time a Cauldron with Great Weapon Elves has went into a steam tank, or actually received a charge from a steam tank, and I killed it. I was lucky enough for him to do 3 wounds to himself, but the other 7 I did straight up fair. So while the casualties were pretty bad, I am pretty confident throwing those elves into a steam tank any day, especially if they have the frenzy spell off. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.